I needed to protect my energy in a way that I've never done it before. For myself. That's the thing. It was for myself. And if someone makes you feel weird about that, girl, there's something wrong with them. I feel like I can write a whole book on this one. I'm thinking Lady Gaga. Killer. Hey, so this is Editing Alia. Just want to let you know, this is definitely going to be a longer video. I will do my part to break it up into different segments, just to make things easier if you don't have the time, but definitely this is the type of video to, once again, put on or watch while you're working. I know that's stuff that I love to do, my friends love to do. If you're a designer, if you work from home, or if you're on like the metro or something, you need something to listen to while you're in transit. So yeah, grab something to drink, a little snack, something to do, or come back when you feel it's right. And yeah, that's it. I was gonna snap, so I'm gonna snap. That's it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the update. And yeah, also feel free to wish me a happy birthday because it's gonna be my birthday real soon. And yeah, all right. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Hello. It's been, once again, a little bit of a minute. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Alia. I am a creative director, visual designer, brand designer, web designer, creative consultant, overall just creative girly who is just figuring herself out in this world, running her own business, and showing you guys through my process as I do so. And in a couple of days, it'll be my birthday! Yeah! And I'll be turning 26. I'm a Leo. If you didn't know, you know now. I'm a Leo. And also Capricorn rising, Sagittarius moon. As I'm reflecting on the year that I've had, the very interesting year, the celebration moments, the moments where I was like, did that really just happen? Moments where I've had to walk away from situations, from people, from groups that I honestly didn't think I would have to when I first started mingling with them. Yeah, there was a lot that happened this past year, and girl, I gotta say, I heard someone say today, by the way, today is August 15th, I heard someone say today, like, having a hermit summer. And that's actually what I've been doing. Like, I literally DM'd someone the other day who had reached out to me earlier in July, and I was like, hey girl, thank you for your love. I am just getting back to my messages. I needed to take a break to protect my energy. And just like, thank you for sharing the love, and you know, hope we can connect someday. I've been having to giving this response to some people who have, you know, DM'd me, reached out to me after I got on my first podcast episode, which was my favorite dream podcast to be on. It was the Expanded podcast by To Be Magnetic. It is my favorite podcast in general, and it was something I manifested. And I thought, you know, if it ever happened, it's gonna happen at some point. If it's aligned, it's aligned. If it's not, it's not. And we'll see what happens. But I knew I had a story to tell. Girl, I'm already doing it here. I was already doing it on my own. But I felt like, you know, if being on the Expanded Podcast platform, if it's gonna help someone, if it's aligned to help someone, it's gonna be aligned to help someone. If I can tell my story and share my journey, my experience, I'm gonna do it, especially if it can help someone. And that's the thing. That's why I do what I do. And I share what I share with you guys. And it happened, It was great. I got a bunch of awesome feedback, met some awesome people. And girl, the time that it came in, I realized already, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to close my doors a little bit, be a little bit more private about what I share and who I let in. And then when the podcast happened, that was even heightened more over this past summer. And like I said, it's August, summer's ending. I needed to protect my energy in a way that I've never done it before. For myself. That's the thing. It was for myself. And like I said, reflecting on the fact that my birthday's coming up, these blessings that have come into my life, the year that I've had. Girl, last year I was living in a hotel. Last year I was grieving the passing of a very close family member of mine who I lived with. Last year I was trying to figure out, how do I make $20,000 stretch? And I was still trying to figure out my own financial situation. I was still trying to trust that I can take financial risks that are aligned, of course. And I will learn what I learn, Girl, so much happened. Even today, might be TMI, but today I exited a group that I was invited to join. And I even suggested building it, of those of us on my old design team. I exited the group today and deleted the chat because, girl, nobody's used it. Ain't nobody has been using it. God bless. I hope everyone's doing well. But if we wanted to say something, we would have said something by now. And we haven't. Girl, it's been a whole year. Ain't nobody said shit. No. So, we keep it moving. Just clearing space, protecting energy, doing it for me mostly, because girl. And that's what today is all about. Reflecting on what I have done, reflecting on celebrating my journey, my path, celebrating myself, for the fact that it is Leo season, for the fact that my birthday is in a few days on the 19th. I'm an August 19th girl. And there's so much that needs to be said. And if there's a way that I can do something to help out the cause, shoot, I'm going to help out the cause. I'm going to help out. Anyway, today I was doing my makeup, and I just got this thought, this ping, this intuitive hit, and also just this creative idea that just came out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, hold up. I want to film a little differently today, hence the change of scenery a little bit, change of angle. You can see my latest painting that I'm working on back there. First abstract piece in a very long time. And I love it so far. You can see the rest of an office space that you typically don't see in my videos, in my filming. I wanted to show a new angle to who I am, where I've been. I was thinking this while I was doing my makeup today, and once again, just reflecting on where I've been and celebrating, girl, don't you dare forget where you went, where you've been, where you've come from. But the biggest thing that I've noticed this past year, yes, but the biggest thing that I've noticed these past few weeks, this past month, is don't forget to shine your light, because you are more of a torch. You are more of a lighthouse than you think you are. And yes, I'm talking about me. I am more than what I thought I used to be. And I'm going to say that's the case for most people in general. We are more than we hold ourselves to be. And I've learned, I have become a source of inspiration for people. That I already knew I was a source of inspiration for some people, but the fact that I was on this podcast and the amount of people that reached out to me to tell me that all the things, they see me, they believe in me, that I'm so grounded for my age, I'm so wise for my age, that I have been through so much, and they support me, they support my journey, they wish me well, they They can relate to me in many fronts, from Muslim women, Hispanic women, Black women, women of all types, of everyone, even men. Men have reached out to me from different countries all over the world. The fact that I have been a light to these people when they needed it and I didn't even know. Reminding myself of that, like, girl, you have walked through the fucking fire, you have walked through the flames, and you've come out okay. More than okay, actually, let me just say, to my own horn a little bit. Bitch, I'm here. I am in my own studio, while a year ago I was living in a hotel room. Now I'm in my own studio with my own office that I built myself, basically, from the ground up, basically, in a home that I manifested and I moved into on my birthday last year. Signed the papers, moved in. I realized I need to give myself more credit. Allow myself to gloat, allow myself to shine, allow myself to toot my own horn, because, like, yeah, we don't always gotta be humble, and, like, humble for who? Humble for who? Especially when you've given your life away a lot, like most people pleasers do. There's a moment to sit down, be humble. Definitely. There's a moment to do that. Not saying don't be egotistical, be conceited. Not saying to do all that. There's a time and a place. But there's also a time and a place to lift your own light. Anyway, this is getting into a different video. But what I wanted to do today is basically update on a series that I started on my Instagram and slightly on my TikTok and on here a little bit too, YouTube. So a little bit ago, earlier this summer, I decided to start a Designer Diaries series, which basically are like little deep cuts of lessons that I've learned over the years as I've worked in the design world. I tried to start on Instagram, but Instagram was like, honey, you're talking too much. We don't have that much time. So I moved it to TikTok and YouTube, because TikTok and YouTube allow me to talk as long as I want about the topic that I want to talk about. And then I stopped because life happened, the world happened, things happened. And I realized today, it's like, I do want to keep going. Like, I actually have Designer Diaries videos filmed already. I just need to edit and post them. I just haven't been able to post them yet. And I was like, okay, thinking about that, I want to do that. I want to celebrate myself. I want to talk about where I've been. How about I just create a long form video going over some of my top 7 major things that I've learned as the designer this past year in business in particular, so that it helps people, like me, who I was a year ago, just starting out, or people who are young designers, people who are new to the corporate world, people who can actually use this information. And, knowing now what I know about what happened after I was on the Expanded podcast, girl, it's not young people, it's not people who are like women or who identify as like women and femme. Girl, it's gonna reach who it needs to reach. If it's gonna reach, let's just say it's gonna reach a Guatemalan man who's based in, I believe, Berlin, who was one of the people that reached out to me. Like, girl, it's gonna reach who it's gonna reach, and let it be. Anyway, that's what I want to do today. I decided to come up with 7 things on my laptop that I can refer to as the top 7 lessons that I've learned in my first year of business, for anyone who needs to hear this advice. And I trust that this will find who it needs to find. Here are my top 7 lessons for my first year of being a freelancer in my own business. Boundaries are your best business partner. Let me just say it again. Ooh, I had to switch up my accent a little bit there. Boundaries are your best business partner. Yes, we're talking about business partners, not business besties, not best friends, not people who are acquaintances. No, business partners, strategic partners within your businesses. Chief officer energy. Learning when and how to say no not only protects your energy, but it also makes room for the right aligned opportunities, the right aligned people, the right aligned situations. Like, dude, so I'm part of a community, and I'll link it below if you're interested in learning more about this community. Started by one of my expanders, or I think two of my expanders. I think they co-started it. And in one of our last discussions that we had together, because we have like Zoom chats, one of the pieces of advice that was given was go ahead and look for venture capitalists and see what they're posting about. Stay up to date with people who align with you and see what's going on. And this could be for many reasons, but I heard this advice. I was like, okay, never thought of that. Let me get into this. A few days ago, I reached out to my first venture capitalist who was very aligned, and she offered me an opportunity. I would have never done that if this advice wasn't just given out of the blue. I would have never done that. And I do believe that this came after, this is the sum, this is the effort after I have had to set boundaries earlier in that week. Things happen. People find you, the right opportunities find you, and you find the right people. Like, it just, the energies are just connecting, and like it's pure physics at this point. Like attracts like, you know. Lesson 2. Your network is gold. Nurture it. So think of your network as a seed. You have to germinate a seed. It has to go through an incubation period just to get the first few sprouts. You know, you have to take care of it. It has to have good soil, good amount of water, good amount of sunlight, or whatever grow light you use. You have to nurture the seed. And this is also a quote that I heard earlier on this week, is that think of a tree. A tree doesn't just start out like that. Big tree, let's just think of a redwood or sequoia, pine tree. These don't start out as big old beasts that they are. The big old beautiful gentle beasts that they are. No, they start as seeds. They start small. And so does your network, usually, for most people. And that's okay. You have to nurture it. Over time, it grows into this beautiful thing. And also, I'm noticing if the lighting is switching, girl, it's a partly cloudy day. The sunlight is coming in, kind of coming out in direct sunlight, kind of in the shadow, but we're good. Anyway, the biggest opportunities often come from people who already know your value. So keep in touch, check in with them, and genuinely support each other, if possible. Because, like, you know, we all got stuff going on. We all got stuff to do. I mean, like, shoot, we get busy. We all get busy. That's okay. But check in. Check in with your friends. Check in with people you used to work with, used to vibe with. See how they're doing. People who inspire you, old mentors of yours, current mentors. Of course, you should be doing that anyway. Keep in touch with people. And that's something I'm still learning too. Like, I know I wrote it down, but I'm still learning this because I can be quite shy. I can be. And I'm still learning how to nurture relationships, you know, whether it's in friendship, whether it's in business, whether I'm just meeting someone who inspires me, you know, or just don't be afraid to make the first step genuinely, you know, don't just come at it as like a sales pitch or something. Genuinely make the first step, and the rest will follow. Ooh, document everything. I feel like I can write a whole book on this one. Like, actually, girl, I wrote a Substack post the other day, and I might just like put a few screenshots to refer to what I'm talking about when it's like document everything. Yeah. Document everything, honey. Please, for the love of God, document everything. Don't just stick to a phone call. Record it, if possible. And, of course, let the person know. Check that they're comfortable with it. Make sure to do it before the call and be like, hey, by the way, our call is going to be recorded for my own purpose, for my own sake of keeping notes. Because that's what I have to do, honestly. Don't just stick to verbal agreements. For the love of God, keep track of your stuff. Keep track of your conversations. Keep track of receipts. I had to learn this back in corporate. One more time. I had to learn this back when I was starting my first corporate tech job. Keep your receipts and keep steady. And if someone asks, hey, what's going on here? What happened here? Be ready to show up as who you are and pull your receipts too, because people can talk. People can talk a lot. People can talk a lot of game, but they can talk all that they want. But what really matters is how you show up and what you show up with. And like I said, I learned this back in corporate, learned this back in my other jobs, took it into how I do stuff on my own because I am my boss. So if something happens, have receipts. Just another note. If you are a business owner, get an attorney. Yes. Get an attorney, have people review your contracts before you sign them. Know what you're signing up for. If you don't have the money for an attorney, shoot, there are so many places online. I heard Legal Shield is a great place to go if you're a business owner. Like subscription for a certain amount of dollars that are like affordable each month to use as you need. Review those contracts. Know what you're signing up for. I know this isn't exactly the whole like document everything topic, but it's a part of your documents and you want to know what you're signing up for before you get into them, especially as a business owner. Okay, number 4, over-deliver on experience, not hours. I'm going to say this one again because I feel like this one can lean into college too. Over-deliver on the experience you provide, not the hours or accreditations you have. Girl, I'm saying girl, but like whoever's watching this, dude, you really don't need to overdo yourself and overprove yourself with the amount of time you put into something. Because like I was saying on the podcast, actually, some weeks I can just work 3 days. Like shoot, this week I think I only work 2 days, including this. I call this work. You know, and that's enough for me. Doesn't mean that I'm putting in any less quality into the work. And that's what's important. So let me get to what I wrote. It's not about how long you work, the amount of time you put into doing something. That's not the end all be all solution to the equation. It's about the quality, the impact of the deliverable, what you deliver, the final product. That's what it's about. So shift yourself from selling your time to selling your value. And this is something that I know people like to talk about if you are a business owner, or if you're working in corporate, if your boss, like my old boss used to ask me like, hey, you know, like, how are you doing this within this time? And like, how are you using your time? And you know, sometimes you'd have one-on-ones with your bosses and everything. And this was one of the things that we talked about over the course of the time that I've been there and that they were my boss. And I would tell them like, you know, I use my time accordingly. If you're asking that, I'm not wasting it. I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm doing it strategically on how I work, you know. I might not have used those exact words, but I said what I needed to say to be like, hey, you don't got to worry. I'm delivering good stuff. Like, I do remember having to tell my boss a few times, like, hey, I got this. Don't worry. Or if you would be like, are you sure about that? Because I'm saying he. Yes, it was a he. Okay, it was a he. There's no bad blood between us, I believe. He sent me a letter of recommendation. Anyway, he would be like sometimes like, are you sure? Like, you don't need any help? You can handle that? And I was like, yeah. And if I do need help, I'll ask. That's fine. Yeah. And speaking of that, little side note on this, over deliver the experience, not the hours you put in. Do not be afraid to ask for help, because that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And if someone makes you feel weird about that, girl, there's something wrong with them. Actually, no, really, like, if someone makes you, like, bombastic type side-eye, like, Gregory from Abbott type side-eye, like, If someone makes you feel like that when you're just like, yeah, actually I need help, don't worry about it. Keep going, because help is fine too. That's a little note. Marketing is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. Like whether you are an employee or an employer for yourself, it's non-negotiable. Honestly, I'm sorry. Someone has to say it. If no one's told you, someone has to say it. I mean, like, and marketing doesn't look like the same thing for everyone. Like, successful marketing doesn't have to look the same for everyone too. But it's a non-negotiable thing. Even when you're busy with client work, because we know how that is sometimes when you're busy with work, keep showing up and share what makes you you. And sometimes that's your expertise. Like for me, I share my personality, I share my journey, my story, and my expertise too. I do my best to do so, and I will be doing so more often. But your visibility in whatever scene that you go in is your momentum, is your energizer, is that nourishing food, that nourishing source. The marketing is that. Whether your marketing recipe is literally just building your website and using SEO, getting low bounce rates, high converting rates, or whether you're showing up on social media, you're posting on TikTok often because you genuinely love it and you're getting amazing feedback, you're finding the right people. Or for others, you might have a small social media audience, but what you show up with, what you post, it will help you find the right people. And in this case, sometimes you don't even need that many people. You might need like 1, 2, 3 people to cover your expenses for a year. You know, that's possible. If no one told you that's possible, that's possible. I'm here to tell you that is possible. There are so many ways that you can market yourself, that you can market your business. You don't even have to show your face if you don't want to. There are so many ways, but that is a non-negotiable marketing. So please be doing it. Find out what works for you and stick to it and make it fun. Make it a vibe, you know? Okay. 6, money mindset changes everything. And it's not just money mindset. It's more of like an abundance of money mindset or just abundance mindset in general. So knowing your worth and of course charging for it isn't just a confidence type of thing. It's a sustainability thing. You don't need to be overworking yourself. Once again, hit them with the boundaries. You don't need to be overworking yourself. You don't need to be overextending yourself. That's not necessary to be providing amazing work. Your mindset about how much you're worth, about the products that you deliver, about whatever you deliver, that changes everything. When you have a sound, healthy mindset, worth, deservingness about yourself and about what you're good at, about what you deliver, you'll be fine. But when you don't, when you are still thinking about triggering situations, like for me, one of the things I had to work through a lot this year. Sorry, I just got a text. One of the things that I had to work through a lot this year was my own money mindset, my own abundance mindset, because like I said, I manifested $50,000. If I didn't say it before, I must say it again. It was a part of the title of my podcast episode. I manifested $50,000 last year. I really did. But when I had it, hold up. One moment, please.
Hello? Look at the text message I just sent you. How are you, Yes. I will work out what we were talking about. Okay. I'm sorry, someone knocked on the door and I used clothes. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I thought about working out. You don't look at it as like a benefit. Not really, because like I can't really talk about my art. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, never mind that.
Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
All right then.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Okay. What was I saying? I'm sorry. What was I saying? I think what I was saying, hold up. I just had a phone call. I had to take a phone call. One moment, please. Let me have some more of my coffee. Okay. Getting back to what I was saying, dude, I've had to deal with a lot of just like money mindset, abundance mindset, like getting into that. Because for a long time, specifically within my career, I was made to feel kind of less than for not doing enough, not being enough, not going out of my way enough. So when I got this abundance, this surplus abundance of money coming in chunks, of course, over time, but still, it came in. It came in, yeah. But when it happened, there were a few things that happened. So one, I did my best to allocate the money to use it to do what I needed to do for different purposes. I did my best to use the money. But also, as it was going, I wasn't quite clear enough in the headspace to truly feel abundant. And so when that money dried up, when it eventually went away, when I eventually had to stop paying my bills because I ran out of money. And girl, the opportunities were not coming in. They just were not here. I had to really sit down with myself over the course of months. Like it's been a year, quite literally. It'll be an entire year of sitting down with myself and deep diving into this mindset. The truth of shifting from scarcity and not deserving, not being enough, being told so many times that I believe it's true, into an abundance mindset. It'll be a year this winter, actually shifting into that. And it's something I'm still working through. I'm a lot better now. I feel like I am more into an abundance mindset than scarcity. But really, when your mindset is still stuck in scarcity, still stuck on what other people think I deserve, and so what they think I deserve must be true because they're my boss, because they're this, because they're that, because they're my mom, they're my dad, they're my cousin, they're my best friend, whoever. If your mindset is still stuck in that way, when you get the abundance that you've been craving, that you've been desiring, you will not, it won't last until you're ready to actually let it in completely. It's more of an energetic thing. But I feel like energy, money, career, life, science, art, they all combine into one. So I feel it's very relevant for this. All right, last but not least, definitely not least, lesson number 7, rest is a revenue strategy. Creativity and strategy thrive when you give yourself space to think, recover, and dream. And this is actually kind of something I was talking about with my friend. I'll link her in the description. She's another designer. She's a brand and web designer based out of Puerto Rico. Based out of PR. Puerto Rico for my American accent. She's a designer based out of Puerto Rico. Her name is Kim. And this is something we were talking about the other day. We're both going through this journey of figuring ourselves out and following the goals that we set for our business, for ourselves. One of the things we were talking about is how we both were craving more space to dream and to create, to play basically. Because that's the thing is, as a creative, we need play. I remember, I think Tom Hiddleston referenced this in an interview that he did. He didn't say those words exactly, but he spoke about it, very briefly, but it was there. And I was like, yes. And this is something that you see reflected in other creatives as well. It's just like, it is play. What we do is just play. We are experimenting. We are discovering. We're using the world around us and what we have within ourselves to create. The life of a creative is to be, within play, within and without the boundaries of what play is, in and out of the sandbox, in and out of the drawn square that they might tell you to stick in, but you're like, actually, no, I want to wiggle around it, Anyway, what I'm saying is something that Kim and I were talking about is how we both we're realizing that we were craving space to just be creative, just play as designers. It's something that we loved to do when we were first both starting out. And she was talking to me about this the other day, and something that I came to realize today is I have been making more space because this is important for me too. And I came to realize that earlier this past year when I was building my own sort of routine schedule out of corporate for myself. But something I realized today is, oh, yes, I have built this life that I have around getting into my own flow, but as of right now, and it changes for people throughout whatever time period you're in, but for me right now in this time period, it has been super beneficial for me to go slow and to ease into a slow creative process. Sometimes I want to move fast. Like that painting back there, that was a fast, quick trip. And I'm still working on it. Like I got the first jump start on it, but I will be slowly easing my way back into it in my own time. And yeah, I realized I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that I have this life that I do have, that I can go slow if I want to. And that the people that I am working with right now, that the one I'm finishing up a project with, and the other one I'm in the middle of the project. I realized today, like, wow, I'm so grateful that these people that I work with, their timelines are not rigid. They trust that I will get the work that I will get done. They're not on my ass about like, well, I gave you this money, so you better deliver. No, they trust, and this is the clientele that I want to keep attracting. They trust my work. They trust my boundaries. They trust my timing, and they trust in timing itself, that you don't have to rush to get things done right. No, definitely. You should never rush to get things done right. To get things done right, you have to allow space for it to grow. Once again, nurturing, you know? And for me, what I've realized I needed most in this season is a space to nurture, is a space to find and tap into that creativity. And it varies per project. Like one project I'm working on right now, masculine energy, very much deep contrast between black and white. It's a space project, it's aerospace, it's engineering, it's design, architecture, satellites. That's very different from another project I'm working on, which is based on a Costa Rican brand of sun, of ease, of nature, of feeling rooted in trees, compared to another thing that I'm working on, which is a blog about wellness, health, holistic, and science-backed approaches, playful, once again, ease, but more fun and vibrant. These are all different. And for me, I need time to get into character. I need time to separate each of them. And depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what's going on in my life, it can take some time to get into character for each of them. You know, it's a part of the creation process. And that's just something else that I would recommend is make sure if you're a creative or just in general, if you need it, take it. Take the space you need to rest. Take the space you need to dream, to reflect, to just be, to reset yourself. Do it, please. Because this world is crazy. This world is crazy. Like this week, girl, if you know what's been going on in the week of, what is it? Today is August 15th in DC. Buffoonery. Some real life buffoonery going on in the streets of DC this week. Like, girl, and none of us have time to be stressed over that. The world will keep moving. Things will keep happening. We still have to show up the best that we can. And we need to take time. It's okay to take time to rest. Right now in the season that I'm in, I am aiming to continue working with people who can actually allow me to take my time. And I'm realizing the strategy, the timeline that I was using for a lot of my projects are, you know, I spend maybe 2 to 3 days this stage of the project, then maybe at a week or two on this stage of the project. I'm just like, no, actually, I'm gonna need about like maybe a week to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks for one stage of a project that I'm on. And I usually have like 1 to 5 stages, sometimes 6 or 7, depending on what my client needs from me. And that can be a month to several months of work. And for that, I need to work with people who trust, who have the money to invest, who are not in a rush, who know exactly what it is to invest into quality and not quick fast food timing. Honey, you're coming in for a gourmet experience, not McDonald's. No shade against McDonald's. Girl, it's giving it's giving, look, you're in the mood for some birria with some mole. But what if you're short on time? Girl, head down to your local Taco Bell. Head down to your local Taco Bell. Girl, you're not going to get the same thing. No, you're going to get something. You're going to get something. But I'm not giving that. I'm giving straight abuelita. Like, I'm giving straight abuelita. Like, if you need birria, I will give you birria my way. If you need mole, I'm going to give you mole my way, dude. Like, yes, actually. Because, girl, I'm not just a creative director. Honey, I'm not just a brand designer. I'm not just a web designer. Girl, I've been doing this for years. For years. You know, I started coding, actually. That was the first website I made. I coded myself, yes. Yes. I know the fundamentals, at least, of human-centered design. I studied that stuff. I lived it. I used it in everyday work. Accessibility, WCAG, standards, UX, that Google UX certificate. Coming in handy. Marketing, like I started out in the design world through a marketing job. It's possible to have all the skills. I need to remind myself that it is possible to have all the skills that I have, to be the unicorn that I am, to have the perspective that I have, to have the energy that I have, and to be seen and respected truly as what I intend to be with my clients, which is a strategic business partner. Like, I'm not just looking to be a brand designer for one project. No, like, I'm looking to build a relationship because I'm looking to be your fractional partner. You know, I'm looking to be there for you. When you need someone to brainstorm with for this next campaign that you have, when you need someone to help you design a sales page for this new idea that you have, or a couple different variations, when you need someone to look into your buyer journey to see the UX of it, to see if it's actually talking to the right people, or to even see if these people are even the right people for you and what you want to do in the future, not your past. It's all there and it's all good. And I need to allow myself to believe that, yeah, I am worthy of finding the right people. And like this, I know it's a tangent, it's a bit of a ramble, but I've been told by so many people, so many things, that I'm not enough. I'm not fast enough. I don't deliver the qualities that they want at the rates that they want it. It usually has to do with speed. I've had to deal with a lot of rejection when it comes to the work that I do that I know is valuable. Like the amount of people that I've reached out to just to be like, hey, by the way, would you use this service? And they're just like, yeah, I would. I just don't have the money for it. Which that's another conversation because there's always a budget somewhere. And girl, if you have it in you, I keep saying, girl, dude, if you have it in you and you still want to work with this person, you can either do it for free, discounted, or set up a payment plan that works for them and they still get the final product and you still get paid, you know, because honestly, let me just like quickly deep dive into that. If people think that they don't have the budget for it right now and they still don't want to sign up for a payment plan with you, they might not believe in the foundation of what they're selling. And that's not what you need either. Yeah, I'm going for established brands, or at least brands that have venture capital or just capital backing them. Yeah. Anyway, getting back into it, my laptop went to sleep. One moment. So I just want to go over some other quick lessons. Quick fire lessons. Not every client is your client. You know, and this definitely has to deal with spotting red flags early. You know, and the more The more you see, the more you get to know, the more you know quickly enough to drop whatever situation that is. Processes save you and your sanity. So processes, systems, order of operations, setting up systems from day one is the ideal dream goal. If you can't do it from day one, please just set them up at some point, either on your own or hire out help. Highly suggest to actually create a business or just a structure, a successful structure, productive structure that actually works for you and delivers. Invest in skills that excite you, so keep your learning fresh to avoid burnout. You are also your own HR, IT, and finance department. Be prepared for the less glamorous side of owning a business if you do choose to do so. And of course, if you have the capital, hire out. If you don't, learn these things first so that when you do know these things, when you get the ball rolling, you can hire it out. The power of a passion project. How self-initiated work can open unexpected doors. Celebrate the small wins, the small stuff, because it's actually really big. They compound into major growth and success. And it's great to look back on these things too, no matter how small you think it might be. Comparison is a creativity killer. Girl, I'm thinking Lady Gaga. Killer. Do not compare. Or comparison is the thief of joy. That's another one. Staying in your lane, doing what you do, your path, your aligned thing, that is your leverage, and stick with it. And if someone is telling you to stay in your lane, usually it's not a good connotation behind that, but figure out what that is to you and stay with it. Don't get distracted by what he, she, they, whoever is doing, saying is the best route. You, at the end of the day, are going to figure out, if you're tapped into yourself, you're going to figure out what works best for you. So stick to that, stay to it, and you're going to be fine. Those were my top 7 lessons that I would share to anyone just starting out in their entrepreneur business journey, new designers, or just people who need a refresher, need an update on just the top 7 lessons I learned from being in business this past year. My first year in business. So, yeah. I have already filmed a couple of videos already, but they've been on the back burner. Still processing through things. I don't really want to say a lot as to what is going on behind the scenes in some situations, but we're figuring it out. We're working through it, and what happens, happens. Also, just for the sake of privacy, I want to keep that. Something's always in the works with me. So also let me know what your favorite lesson was that I shared, or what is one lesson that you would tell yourself? I think I've said this question before. What is one of your favorite lessons that you've learned and that you would share with someone, and why it means so much to you? I would love to know that in the comments. Go ahead and share this video, like this video, subscribe if you want to keep up to date. I am looking forward to posting more and just sharing more about my behind the scenes, my journey. Like I said, it has been a hermit summer, a little bit of a protect my peace type of summer. And yeah, right now I'm in this phase of coming back into the light, allowing myself to shine, to glow, to radiate. My birthday's in a few days, and I'm going to be taking off that week. So if you'd like, go ahead and send me some birthday wishes. It's on the 19th. And yeah, if you're interested in my work and getting to know me and seeing how we can collaborate, always down to collaborate, always down to chat with the right people. And yeah, all right, I'll see y'all in another video. Peace.